Welcome back to the Shadow Archive. This is where we reopen hidden scientific records, forgotten technologies, and inventions that could have changed the world if they had not been shut down. Today, we look into one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century, the Wardenclyffe Tower, a massive metal structure that once stood on the shores of Long Island and then vanished as if it had never existed at all. Some people called it a wireless power station. Others believed it was a planet-scale resonance weapon. But the last documents show that Tesla was trying to build something that the world was never ready to understand. If you want more cinematic deep dives like this, make sure to like and subscribe. And the question that opens today's episode is this: was the Wardenclyffe Tower destroyed because it failed, or because it worked too well? In the year 1901, Tesla returned from Colorado Springs, where he had witnessed lightning forming standing waves in the sky and realized that Earth itself had a natural resonant frequency. He brought back data, sketches, and a wildly ambitious idea to build a machine capable of triggering the resonance of the planet. J.P. Morgan agreed to fund it, and in Shoreham, Long Island, the Wardenclyffe Tower began to rise, a tower nearly 200 feet tall, which is about 60 meters, a dome more than 68 feet wide, which is about 21 meters, and an underground shaft dropping more than 118 feet straight into the soil, which is about 36 meters. Residents said they saw purple-blue flashes spark from the top of the tower. The ground trembled lightly, as if a metal heartbeat was pulsing beneath their feet. No one was given an explanation, but everyone knew one thing. This was not an ordinary power station. Tesla believed that Earth was a giant electrical circuit. Inside the tower were three critical components: the spark gap oscillator, a machine that generated extremely high-frequency electrical pulses; the extra coil, a special winding that pushed the waves downward into the ground instead of upward into the air; and the ground resonator, a subterranean chamber designed to amplify those waves inside the Earth itself. Working together, they created standing waves that could travel through the planet. In theory, a single station could supply energy to the entire world. But because this energy could not be measured or built, it became the greatest threat to the global power industry. Tesla did not build the Wardenclyffe Tower for New York. He built it for the entire planet. In his vision, electricity would be like air. Everyone could use it. There would be no wires, no utility bills, no need for any transformer stations. But that was only half of the secret. The Wardenclyffe Tower could also transmit information. Tesla believed that energy and data could travel together through the Earth, forming a global network of intelligence. It was essentially the concept of the modern internet, but he imagined it at the very beginning of the 20th century, Colorado Springs, the year 1899. Tesla created artificial lightning more than 100 feet long, which is about 30 meters. The electrical pulse was so powerful that it burned out the generator of the entire town. Compasses spun uncontrollably. Light bulbs miles away continued to glow without any wires. In New York City, a handheld resonance device of his shook an entire building as if it were about to collapse. Tesla said, "If I let it run a few more minutes, I could have shaken the whole city." The Wardenclyffe Tower was the larger, far more powerful version of those dangerous early machines. Morgan invested because he believed this was going to be a commercial station. But when Tesla revealed that the energy would be completely free, Morgan asked, "Is there no way to charge people for using it?" Tesla replied, "Energy will be everywhere, just like the air." A few days later, all funding was withdrawn, and within only a few months, every remaining source of capital disappeared. The Wardenclyffe project was quietly and relentlessly choked to death, not because it was wrong, but because if it ever worked, it would break the economic structure of the entire world. Three groups had what they called strategic concerns: the energy corporations, because the Wardenclyffe Tower would create electricity that could not be measured or billed. The government, because this was a system that existed outside the control of any national authority. And the military, because Tesla's ground-based radio system was thousands of times stronger than ordinary radio transmissions. Their shared conclusion was simple. The Wardenclyffe Tower could not be allowed to operate. When Tesla passed away, the FBI seized every document he left behind, and when the files were eventually returned, many boxes containing the Wardenclyffe designs had mysteriously vanished. Pages describing resonant frequencies were torn out. The operating diagrams of the extra coil were gone. The blueprint of the underground chamber was never found. It was as if someone deliberately removed the instructions for running the machine, but left the outer shell so the world would not suspect a thing. Tesla discovered that Earth has its own natural resonant frequency. The Wardenclyffe Tower was designed to trigger and amplify that frequency. Small vibrations would be harmless. Large vibrations could disturb the layers of the Earth's crust. Extreme resonance could lead to outcomes no one could predict. One engineer wrote, "If you strike the resonant frequency of a building, it will shake. If you strike the resonant frequency of the planet, who knows what will begin to shake?" No one dared to test it. And that is why the Wardenclyffe Tower was destroyed before it could ever be activated. The Wardenclyffe Tower was not just a power generator. It was a machine for controlling information. Tesla's ground-based radio system could send signals across the ocean, signals that could not be jammed and could not be destroyed. A person who controlled this system could control the flow of information for the entire world. This was not about electricity. This was about infrastructure-level power. And that was the reason it could never be allowed to exist. The Wardenclyffe Tower was silenced. The structure was destroyed, and the dream was buried under the dust of time. But Tesla never stopped, because the Wardenclyffe Tower was only the opening chapter of a series of experiments. Far more dangerous pages were torn out. Journals were taken, and witnesses spoke of a device so small it could be held in one hand, yet powerful enough to shake an entire building. Tesla called it his oscillator. People later called it something far more unsettling: the man-made earthquake machine. In the next episode of the Shadow Archive, we will open the door to Tesla's most dangerous legacy. Episode 5: Man-Made Earthquake. A device so small it could move the entire planet. If you want to continue this journey, make sure to like, subscribe, and return for the next chapter, the Shadow Archive, where the past never truly sleeps.